Good evening. This is Professor Rush once again. Now, as some of you will recall, about a year ago I was contacted by an entity claiming to be a space alien. His name is OO. Well, he's back. Now, I'm not sure exactly who or what OO is, but he does have some interesting things to say. You can make up your own mind about OO and what he is or is not. In any case, here is OO.
Hello? Is there anyone listening there on the other end? Professor Rush? If that's your real name, lots of aliens use aliases, you know.
I'm here, OO. I did get your earlier call.
Yes. Is that your real name? Rush? Ha ha ha.
Yes, why? I know I'm getting sucked into something here.
Well, in our language, the word roosh is the sound one hears when you flush a toilet. Ha, ha, ha. Now, I'm sorry about that, but if I smile once in a while when I refer to your name, it's just one of those linguistic things. Ha, ha, ha. But anyway,
You know, one of my viewers commented that aliens aren't supposed to have a sense of humor.
well, without a sense of humor, one will not last long in this universe. There's a great deal to make fun of in this grand dimension. We call it a dimension, which is a quantum construct, while you people call it a universe, which is a geographical construct. Now, I like to think I have a sense of humor, at you Earthlings' expense, of course. Nothing wrong with humor in the right place. Not when you're having sex, of course. Ruins the whole effect. Perhaps your viewer was having sex at the time? Anyway, the reason I called, can I call you John? Whoosh. Well, ha ha ha. Get it? Anyway, I called because I wanted to hear your voice. As we, I mean us, not you, as we communicate for the most part telepathically, there are always these voices in my head. It is simply a matter of tuning in on which voice you want to listen to, usually because of a conditioned name or word or phrase, like, hey, Fred, or danger, or perhaps stash the nick, or something like that. Now, I've revealed something about our species, so put a check mark after that. So, it is nice to have the experience of a voice from outside rather than the voices from within. Sort of a third opinion.
Okay, it's nice to know you were thinking of me anyway.
Well, you are at the top of my favorite living advanced species list.
Just how many Skype numbers do you have on your list, OO?
Just one, yours. So for now, you are my favorite alien. Now, does this sound familiar, John? You know, most of the people I study have long since gone the way of the object.
Gone the way of the what?
Object. Object. An object is sort of a reptilian-like creature that died out many millions and millions of years ago. Now, it is of interest to know there are patterns that make evolution tick. You know, work or come together, and those patterns are repeated on every planet or moon. There seems to be sequences that life forms pass through as they more and more obtain a consciousness of the world around them. At the reptilian stage, that's about second to the 7th evolutionary time it takes to get to the next type of consciousness. You see, John, what is evolving is consciousness, and that body you lug around is just a canister testing our and your brand of consciousness. Most of you anthropologists and biologists center on the physical aspects of this process, and rightly so, or you will never understand what your genetic code really is. So, my job, as you remember, is to find out what happened to these various advanced life forms.
Whoa, slow down here, OO. Let me stop you there. What do you mean by the second, eighth, seventh evolutionary time? I don't quite get it.
Don't you ever listen to music? Octaves, John. But seriously, we will have time to talk about what you want to talk about, and I will do my best to answer your questions. But remember, you owe me one.
Owe you one what?
Have you been into the net? Short short-term memory, perhaps. I revealed something of myself or our species to you. Remember, we're building trust here. You see, I learned all the skills in this species sensitivity class. You are more likely to share quality information with people you trust, right?
Yes, yes, I remember. I remember. I share something of myself with you, and you share something of yourself with me, and we build trust. And I haven't been into the net, whatever that is.
Nut is very similar to your cannabis species. You know, what you call pot or marijuana and so on. The species contains tetrahydrocannabinol, THC, net, and this is found all over the known geographical organic universe wherever plant forms or life forms are found. You see, John, THC is part of your neurochemistry and that of all sentient beings. But NECT has an extra added bonus.
Okay, a bonus. What's that?
Well, I'll let you in on a secret. If it lasts longer than 4 hours, you consult your physician. Ha ha ha. Anyway, we're on a new assignment.
So, where are you now? As you mentioned that your research had been completed on that planet or moon or whatever it was, that sister star of Sirius.
That's right. There was both a planet and moon in the research. There is quite a story here that would fit in very nicely with some of your best science fiction. Even better because it actually happened. Perhaps I could do a screenplay or even.
So where are you now? Oh oh, are you there? Oh oh, where are you now?
Huh? What? Sorry, I drifted off a bit, thinking about a screenplay and having an action role in what you call movies, where you beat up the bad guys and then screw all the women. Wonderful stories get right to the basics of life and death.
What in the world are you talking about? Oh oh, where do movies come in here?
Well, what we found on that planet is unusual. And of course, you produce lots of science fiction, which we have watched because we subscribe to Netflix. And being way out here, we can only get movies from the 1990s and early 2,000. You know, the distance and all.
That's absurd, oh. You're pulling my leg. If we can be communicating in real time, how is it Netflix can't get movies to you in real time?
Well, they apparently use media mail. Very slow. But the point is, sex and violence, these seem to be what it's all about on your planet. Sex and violence. And, oh yes, food. You Earthlings eat some pretty interesting stuff. For example,
Can we get back on track here? You seem to be wandering a bit.
oh yes, I have been reassigned. I convinced my superiors, whom I admire and respect, of course, as this phone call may be monitored for quality assurance and that sort of thing, you know. But I convinced my superiors that, for a change, I wanted to study a still existing civilization and then follow it through to its destruction. That is where I've been since we last chatted.
So you want to study a species that has reached a certain level of awareness and technology and then follow it through until it eventually extinguishes itself?
That is correct.
Well, which civilization did you have in mind?
Well, that is classified information. I've got a pretty good idea, but will not be informed of the particulars until near our destination.
Well, why such secrecy, Oo?
There are unscrupulous individuals out there, and very wealthy ones at that, who deal in antiquities. Just think of Indiana Jones on a galactic scale. You see, John, there are lots and lots of dead civilizations out there that get just about to your point of social development, and then they go extinct, blow themselves up, or they're hit by space debris. Sometimes it's plagues and such. We will all go the way of the dinosaur, to use your phrase. In fact, my ancestors are from a place that no longer exists as a, shall we say, a physical place that would sustain life. And so, the artifacts, the remains, tell us how they got to that point, and in general terms, the details. But when the different, what you would call species, begin to remove artifacts from a planet, they remove information often necessary for interpretations. Not only that, John, but you have to have a buyer for the artifacts you steal. So there is a chain of command from the thieves themselves to the buyer, and one of the problems encountered by the thieves is that of concealing the theft until it can be safely transported to whatever destination the buyer decides. One way to hide an artifact is to set it within other artifacts of a specific dead civilization. That way, it is difficult for the antiquarian police. These are real nasty people, I know. I work for them, but I'm not really one of them. I'm a researcher like you, John. Anyway, the antiquarian police can have difficulty recognizing the anomalies. That is one of my functions in this study. There, I revealed something else about myself. Anyway, the ancient alien hunters, you know, the History Channel. I often watch the History Channel when I can't watch SpongeBob SquarePants. Anyway, the ancient alien hunters see this another way, and this may be true as well. Aliens came to your planet with wonderful technology. Well, what happened to it? Perhaps your planet has been stripped of this information by other alien groups. And these artifacts were taken to a central location and eventually sold on the antiquities market. There isn't much we can do about this except, shall we say, harshly communicate with these Indiana Jones types. And we have. Of course, I have nothing to do with that. I'm a researcher. Anyway, we have been en route to our new research station, and I'm surrounded by. Now, we're not supposed to use this word. Retards.
So your superiors restrict the use of certain words? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Words they consider evil. I had to take this course in species sensitivity before we started our journey.
Species sensitivity, sort of like our cultural sensitivity programs, I suppose.
Yes. we have to allow the different species with whom we cooperate on this research project to do their thing without critique. Our chief engineer from Soto, a very strange species, eats and eliminates through the same orifice located on the lower end of the body.
Lower end of the body.
Is there an echo in the room? Testing. 1, 2, 3. Yes, lower end of the body. The brain is located on the upper half of the body. Anyway, our engineer's cultural pastime is what they call sladict.
Slaudict.
Yes, sladict, sladict. I'm going to have to slap you if you don't stop that. Why do you have to repeat everything? Anyway, you know, the fart game, where you emit gas and then light the gas, causing a small explosion. Sort of a ritual with this species. Well, in class, I was told to be accepting of other species' behavior that I work with, or else.
So you were threatened.
Yes. And a few Earth days ago, our engineer was playing the game and accidentally burped at the same time. Sort of like an afterburner, lifting him off the deck and into the bulkhead. Broke his, well, he doesn't have a neck. Anyway, he did not survive the experience. Anyway, good to hear your voice. As I just informed you, the ship I'm on, an outpost, if you will, is populated by a number of alien species from around the galaxy. Experts in their respective fields. That's why I had to take a week-long workshop on interspecies sensitivity. Now, I learned that the on-type women like to be greeted with, "How is your bottom?" Now, see, here is the problem, John. When I say, "How is your bottom?" I begin to laugh uncontrollably and end up being insensitive as hell. You see, I'm supposed to really be interested in her bottom. Have you ever seen an anti-woman's bottom?
No, I can't say that I have, but I can understand that it's sort of like me being forced to use a greeting ritual with you, which to me would seem strange. For example, how is your scrotum? Now, suppose,
Well, hold on now. What is wrong with how is your scrotum?
well, we're really off track here. So, you're on a vessel, an outpost, and you're going to study the rise and demise of an alien civilization. Now, how can you do that?
Well, that is very simple. Although the technology behind this is way beyond me, and I'm at least 10 times smarter than you. Nothing personal, just stating the facts. We inherited this technology from beings who, in the remote past, scanned a good portion of this geographical quadrant, indicating where there might be intelligent life forms, or at least conditions for such to arise. You folks are very lucky you have a moon, and rarely do we find advanced life forms on a planet without at least one moon. Now, this technology comes with a multiple scanning capacity, scanning droids, if you will, so that if a planet or moon seems likely for advanced intelligent life, one of these secondary scanners investigates. The secondary scanners have some very interesting, intelligent capabilities, but they are droids. Secondary scanners have been collecting data for at least 100 million of your Earth years and are occasionally replaced in some cases. I've checked the database, and your planet has been scanned many, many times. Hello? Hello? Are you there? Hello?
Yes, I'm here. That was a strange sound.
I'm going to have to break off now as I have a small matter to discuss with. It's okay, Shishi. Just bank left and press that little gold button, and I will be with you in a few moments, my dear. I mean, Shishi.
This one?
Yes.